Well, hey there. You know, I haven't done a first 100 in quite a while. I think it's been a few months since I've actually done a first 100 video. I just haven't had new things to do first 100s with, or I've either, you know, just gone ahead and done a whole full-blown review when I did have something. But today is an exception. I am going to do a first 100 with this little beauty right here. This is the Sig Sauer MCX VIRTUS chambered in 300 AAC Blackout. And so a couple of firsts. The very first time that I have fired this gun, I have yet to fire it as of this moment, but this will be the very first time I've shot this gun, and this will be the very first time I've ever shot 300 Blackout. So it has eluded me. Lo, these many years, I have not shot 300 Blackout. So I'm really interested to just experience the whole thing and bring you along, and we'll do a first 100, and then I promise I'm going to come back and do a deep dive, and we're going to go way into this thing, do some more serious accuracy testing, talk about, you know, we'll talk about field stripping, we'll talk about how this rifle is designed to be a little bit different than a standard AR, although it is very, very AR-like. Talk about all those things in a deep dive. Today, it's just about doing a first 100, having a little bit of fun, and giving you my sort of real-time first impressions. So let's get going. All right, I got 20 rounds loaded up, and I'm just going to go 50 yards away. I've got a steel target at 50 yards, and I really, at this point, I just want to, I don't think I need that. I just want to see if these sights are on. I'll talk about these sights in a bit. All right. First shot is a hit. Low right, but a hit nonetheless on that small target. All right. Very good. Uh-oh. A stoppage in the action, boys and girls. All right. Let's see what that's about. I think. Oof. Oh man. I'll show you a close-up of this. Oh, I'll show you a close-up of this. This is nasty. Nasty. All right, what else we got? A live round. Put him back in the mag. All right, let's try it again. I have a different target, 50 yards downrange, a little bit smaller. Try that one. Yeah, baby. All right. Every shot's a hit, ladies and gentlemen. Every shot's a hit. Step right up. Man. Accurate rifle. Very accurate. These sights seem like they're pretty well dead on. First 20 rounds in the history books. All right, that first 20 rounds, by the way, was PPU ammo, 100 and, what is it, 128 grain, 125 grain, 125 grain. This is going to be VIRTUS, and it is also 125 grain. Only difference is this is a hollow point, whereas the PPU was just a full metal jacket. Just as we're keeping track of the ammo. So that first magazine, I had one hiccup where it pretty much crunched one of the cases during injection, and had a stoppage there. But otherwise, beautiful performance. These sights are LWRC sights. They're flip up, very nice quality sights. The gun does not come with any sights. It comes with just the flat top, all Picatinny rail all the way down it, so you can put whatever you want on it, but it doesn't come with sights, and I'm not a real big fan of the doesn't come with sights thing. At least give me, if nothing else, give me a cheap set of polymer flip ups or something, you know, so that if I took it from the gun store to the range I could use it. But anyway, the backstory, there's a little bit of a backstory on this one. This is a brand new rifle, but the LWRC sights were already on it. It also has a V6G Gamma 300 Blackout brake on the front. That is not stock. So the stock flash hider was taken off, and this muzzle brake was put on, and the sights were put on, because this was ordered by one of the employees at the gun store who got the rifle in, put the sights on, switched out the flash hider for a muzzle brake, a really nice one, and then decided he didn't want it. So he said, let's go ahead and just sell it. So it's funny because I was thinking about this rifle a lot. I had actually recently been watching some of Tim from Military Arm Channel's content on this rifle, and he was making me want one because he was really liking it. And so I had been thinking about it, and it was on my conversation list anyway, and then there it was. So I thought, well, that's fate. Well, let me take this rifle out of the store and give it a good home. So that was the idea. So that's a little bit about this configuration. This right now is the configuration exactly the way I purchased the rifle, but it's not exactly the way it comes from Sig Sauer. Different ammo, same stuff. Let me try. I'm going to keep going at 50 yards here for a minute with these open sights. And that's a hit. I just want to make sure that it's performing the same or nearly the same with both ammo types. Nice. All right, let me try the smaller target. Very nice. Oh, again, got a click when I was expecting a bang. All right. For whatever reason, it did not strip and feed the next round. So, try that again. All right, where was I? I was going for that small target at 50. Man, nice performance, really nice performance. All right, So since I'm feeling so frisky, got a steel plate hanging at 100 yards. I'm gonna try that. And trust me, this will be my fault if I can't hit it, because that's a long way for open sights for these tired old eyes. Hit. First shot, first hit. Looks like just about dead center too. All right. So it's good to know with these sights, I can hit my target at 100. Very, very nice. That is not very, very nice. So I was about to tell you how much I really love the trigger, which I really do. The trigger is phenomenal. And just about everything else. What I don't like is the part where it goes click instead of bang. All right, so that's what we got. That's what we got going on there. Sort of a sideways stove pipe, and it's wedged in with another round. Case isn't damaged much, so it does seem to have some feeding issues though. So we got a few rounds left. Let's work through them. Go back to the 50-yard target. I don't know guys. Are we empty and the bolt didn't lock back? Yep. I saw that last one, the bolt did not lock open on the last round or after the last round. This is the magazine that comes with the rifle. So let me try a Magpul magazine. Okay, here are the two targets at 50 yards that I was shooting at. This one is familiar, you know this guy. And it's a slight angle, probably maybe 30 degrees from the bench I was shooting at, you know, in a direction. So a little bit of an angle, although this target is facing pretty well straight toward the rifle. So those shots should have been pretty dead on as far as, you know, straight hits. And you can see it's putting them, I think my first couple shots were down here, or my first one was here and the next one was over here. But the majority, and I put a bunch of them on this target, probably, you know, 30 rounds, and all in a nice area there. I don't think there were any misses. I think every round found the target. And then the other one is this one down here. This one is sort of a permanent fixture at the club, and this one is definitely at an angle to the shots. It looks like I was putting most of them almost dead center, and you can see the splatter going in that direction. So I'm very happy with that, and this is about 8 inches, this target. Yeah, with open sights, I'll take it. The gas switch is actually very easy to access. Right there through the handguard, you can see got a couple of big holes, and there's different holes for different types of gas tubes and gas systems. In this particular 16-inch barrel version, it uses the rearward of the two holes. And you can see that if I flip it over, it goes at an angle. It's either leaning one way or it's leaning the other way. And just back a little ways, you can see right here we have a minus in this direction, and on the other side you have a plus in that direction. So right now, I know you're looking at it upside down, but right now it's in the plus setting because it is tipped down in that direction. So we look at it back this way, a little easier to tell. This is our minus direction, and it is tipped up the opposite way. That is counter to how we would want it. Sig Sauer recommends that unless you are suppressed or in very, very adverse conditions, that you run it in the minus position. Even though you probably could run it in the plus position a lot of times with, you know, with regular supersonic ammo, you're going to just wear your parts out a lot faster. So here's the tool you want to use. Just take a round of ammo, feed the tip right into that hole, and then, like a little lever, just pull it down. That's it. It's as simple as that. So for my purposes, I'm probably never going to need it in any other setting other than that setting right there. Okay, a couple of changes. First, going to go to a Magpul magazine. I'm glad I picked up a couple Magpul magazines because I'm not sure this magazine that came with it is functioning properly. So, Magpul Magazine. This is back to the PPU, the Korean stuff, PPU full metal jacket. And the other change, probably the more significant one, is going with an optic. This is a Sig Sauer Bravo 5, and it is a 5 power, fixed power optics, 5x32, and I've used it in the past and I like it a bunch. So I thought this would be a really nice rifle to put it on. So let me see if I'm anywhere near a starting point on this thing and maybe zero it in. I won't make you watch me do all that, but let's do the very first shots with it anyway, just to see. Sometimes you get lucky. All right, I'll go from our little pink target. All right, I'm on the target. Let's see if I can be more precise. Go for a headshot. Wow. Wow, that's almost exactly on. I put it right between the bolts on the head. And let me go for the other target. Man, it's close. It is close. Okay, that's at 50. Let me reach out to 100. Okay, 10-inch plate, no problem. Got a 6-inch plate next to it. Let's try that. Okay, looks like it hit at the 11 o'clock spot on that target. All right, I think I'm hitting a little high at 100, so try a little Kentucky elevation here. Yep. All right, it needs to be zeroed in a little bit better, which I will do with paper, and I won't make you watch. Okay, very nice. Very, very nice. £4, 11 ounces. So when I mounted the Sig Bravo 5 optic onto the rifle and figured I'd give it a try, first I just shot it at steel target 50 yards away just to see if I was going to be able to hit the steel at that distance, which it did pretty much every time. Hit the steel target, no problem. And I think I even before I did any sight-in work, I think I reached out to 100 yards and was able to hit the steel target at 100. So I knew I was close, but then I put up some paper and I got out the good ammo, the Sig Sauer ammo. This is 125 grain, supersonic of course, and it is moving at 2200 feet per second. So it's getting down the range. So I used this ammo and I shot a couple of 3-shot groups. This was the first group right here. That was 3 shots and I was happy with that, but I wanted to move it down. So I made a few adjustments to the Bravo 5 and shot 3 more, and these are those 3. And I'm here to tell you I have never shot a group that good ever in my life, and I probably never will again. So I think I might keep this just to prove that, you know, on the right day with the right angel sitting on my shoulder or whatever, I could get something like that done. But that, I measured it and I came up with 1.158. You know, just roughly center to center on 2 of these holes. There's three holes right there. Basically 1 hole with 3 lobes. So 158 at 50 yards, and even if you say that it's a 1/4 inch, which would be 0.250, and extrapolate that out, that's a half a minute group at 100 yards, and that is incredible. These squares are 1-inch squares. So this rifle is certainly capable of doing some serious accurate shooting, and it looks like this ammo is as well. All right. Okay, first 100 done. What are my thoughts? At this point in time, after exactly 125 rounds, well, let's start with all the pluses, and there are a lot of pluses. First, it starts with, I love the ergonomics. It's, you know, the rifle looks a little big in the handguard. When you first look at it, you think it's large and it's kind of rectangular looking and all that. But it's actually very comfortable, and everywhere you grab it feels basically the same, and I like that a lot. The pistol grip is very good quality and extremely nice ergonomics again on it. Very comfortable to hold. It's just the right size for my small to medium sized hands, and it's got a nice texture. So I like the pistol grip a whole lot as well, and it has a tiny little place in the bottom if you wanted to hide something. In the pistol grip, you get a little bit of storage in there for that. I like the folding stock, and it works really nice. It's a folding and collapsing stock, so that is the best of both worlds. Very AR-like controls, of course, as we'd expect. It does have ambidextrous magazine release capabilities, which is very nice, and it has an ambidextrous safety. So the ergonomics of the rifle are fantastic. Big fan. It has amazing accuracy potential. Even in my hands, it shot extremely accurately, and that's saying something. So it's got to be magic, because I suck usually as a rifle shooter. So for me to produce what is probably, it may wind up being the best group I've ever shot in my whole life. So I'm looking forward to, in the deep dive, which I will start working on fairly soon, more accuracy testing with a lot of different kinds of ammo. I've already ordered a bunch of different kinds of ammo. 300 Blackout right now is so hard to find, and when you find it, incredibly expensive. But I've ordered a bunch of different stuff. That Sig Sauer is going to be hard to beat. I mean, you know, 3 shots in one ragged hole at 50 yards is going to be really, really hard to beat. It's a great look. I love the look of this rifle. This is basically the Legion of rifles. It is that exact same Legion gray, which I like anyway. If you watch the channel, you know I love Legions, and so why wouldn't I like Legion gray on a rifle? So I like the aesthetics. I don't mind the look. I know some people love the handguard. Some people hate the handguard. I don't necessarily love it. It's not like my favorite thing I've ever seen. They should have done an angled taper here at the end. That would have given it a little bit more of an aesthetic. But, you know, from a practical standpoint, now you've got usable M-lock and usable handguard all the way out. So, you know, from purely an operational perspective, that makes the best sense. I like the trigger. That is definitely one of the biggest things to like about this rifle. You saw the measurement. It is nice and light, but it's also very, very crisp. It's got a nice short action and a beautiful reset. I enjoyed this trigger a whole lot. It's very, very nice to shoot. A couple of the things that I really like about this rifle are not part of the stock rifle, and that would be, first, the muzzle brake. The VG6 Precision muzzle brake that's on this rifle is fantastic. It was put on by the dealer that sold me the rifle. It is not a standard component, but it is awesome. So very good choice on that. I am definitely leaving that on. I also like the sights. The LWRC sights are very good, as we would expect from that particular brand as well. They were pretty well dead on too, because I was ringing steel at 100 yards with the open sights without any trouble at all. So the biggest compliment I can pay the muzzle brake is that there's no muzzle rise at all with this muzzle brake on here in this caliber, this 300 Blackout, shooting supersonic ammunition. I could definitely perceive that when I was shooting it. It just didn't feel like it felt like the recoil just comes straight back into your shoulder with no muzzle lift whatsoever. But then when I went back and looked at my footage, it really proved that out. I mean, it's just, you cannot see this muzzle rise at all. The nice thing about that is you can shoot rapid fire all day long, and that muzzle's just not going to lift. It's not going to walk up on you, which is fantastic, especially when the targets are a little bit further out. So what about negatives so far? Again, after first 125 rounds through this, so I'm still getting to know it. But the negatives are maybe the price. You know, this is a $2,000 rifle, so it's not going to be one that a lot of people bring home as an impulse buy, like I did from the gun store. So it's a considerable chunk of budget to get into this, and there are a lot of things out there at a lot cheaper price point. So does this perform at the level that the price is you know, commanding for it? And that's a question I'm not going to try and answer yet. I'm just sort of throwing that one out there. Maybe try and answer that during the deep dive. And the other negative, and to play off of that topic, is all the malfunctions that I had. Almost every magazine that I shot through this gun had at least one failure to feed. Sometimes it was because the previous empty didn't eject. Sometimes it was because the round just didn't get stripped and feed for whatever reason, but I think almost every single mag of ammo that I ran through this gun had at least one stoppage. And that is very concerning. I'm not going to trash it for it at this point in time because, again, it's 100 rounds in. Who knows what's going on with that? I do want to try and find out. But that is definitely not a favorable start. But no judgment call yet. I want to try and get to the bottom of it and figure it out. I did suspect initially that it might have been the magazine. First couple magazine full that I shot were the stock magazine that came with the gun. So I switched over to Magpul. I had 2 Magpul magazines that I had bought, and I ended up having trouble with both of those too. The odds of having 3 magazines have the same type of problem are pretty small. I won't say impossible, because, you know, never say never, but greatly reduced odds of 3 magazines having this, causing the same problem because of, you know, anything wrong with the follower or the spring or the feed lips or any of that. The problem also happened with more than one type of ammo, so, you know, I'm not gonna I'm not leaning toward thinking it was an ammo issue either. So something I want to try and look into. I'll figure out what I can. Definitely something we'll talk about a lot more during the deep dive. So that's it. That is the end of the first 100. And I'm hoping to come back, you know, in a month or two with a deep dive, get a lot more rounds through this thing, figure out what's going on with it, and tell you a lot more about it. We'll get into what's different between an AR-15 and this rifle. They are not exactly the same. Look at the insides, look at the field stripping, look at the bolt carrier design and how it's different than an AR. All of those details will be coming up in the deep dive. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll come back and watch again.